Rewinders, we've just announced Darwin. The Rewind Daddies mixtape tour is coming to your area of planet Earth, the Darwin Entertainment Centre, Friday the 27th of June 2025. Get your tickets. Sydney, we're also coming back to the Bridge Hotel in Rozelle, August the 9th, 2025. Tickets also now available. It's all about to go nuts with the Rewind Daddies mixtape tour. Get your tickets on rewinddaddiesband.com. Shebop, the Cyndi Lauper experience, is also coming to the Wedge in Sale. Gippsland, you're on, like Donkey Kong. Friday the 9th of May, 2025. All tickets and info, rewinddaddiesband.com. And we'll see you soon. Woo! Hello there.
How you going, guys?
Better the devil you know. Tonight, what are we doing, JB? It's exciting.
We're looking at our Kylie Minogue, everyone.
We are.
How awesome.
She is our Kylie, isn't she?
She really is. I caught her in concert just last Friday night. It was awesome. Mika and I went down with two mates of ours. It's been years since I've seen her. I think she was doing, I think it was called the Showgirl Tour or some shit that she did last time, which was a really, really big production in Rod Laver Arena as well. But this was quite a stripped back show in terms of like sets and staging. Like they use a lot of, these big touring artists these days, they use a lot of digital screens, which are very, very effective.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, and she sort of had a couple of rises and stuff, but mainly for the band, and only about 5 or 6 dancers. Like the stage wasn't filled with like dancers and acrobats and stuff like that. And I was looking back at some of her past shows and how complex they were, and this one was just as impactful. Like it was just her singing, mate, with a band, you know. It was
and the band
incredible.
is always amazing. Her bands are always amazing. They're like my favourite live band in the world outside of Madonna's live band, you know.
Yeah, yeah. And she's a real band girl, like you don't expect.
Yeah.
Like she's actually
right.
It's actually like her fronting a band, you know what I mean? Like she's sort of part of it. It's not like a bunch of musos that are supporting this sort of this pop star that really has no connection to the you know.
Yeah.
She's really part of the band and really connected to them. I loved that.
Yeah, and that's really important as an artist to not think you are separate from the band because you are one unit on the night, and that's what makes the whole night magical. And then the crowd gets involved, and then you're a unit with them as well. So it's really important. I think Kylie's always been really good at that. Like her work ethic is incredible, and the people she brings into the crew just adore her, and she adores them back.
Yeah, that's right. She's a beautiful chick, mate. Like I kind of I remember the stages her going through in the very late 80s and the sort of at different stages in the 90s and stuff. She sort of copped it. She really did cop it. She copped a bit of just cultural cringe from Aussies, which was really fucking unfortunate. And I'm glad we came in with Better the Devil You Know because it was almost like a little bit of a rebirth or a reboot for her. Like she came
100%.
out a little bit skinnier, a bit older and wiser. She was sort of it was like a little rebirth. She was a lot sexier. She was just sort of like experienced and she was still doing pop. She was still doing Stock Aitken and Waterman, but it was like she was sticking to her guns and coming back stronger. And
and she's also, I don't know whether she was dating Hutchie at this time, but that relationship I feel made her a lot stronger and made her grow up a lot.
Yeah,
and because I mean, Better the Devil You Know is Stock Aitken and Waterman, but it's a really mature sound, Stock Aitken and Waterman.
Yeah, that's right.
And this is where you went into a nightclub and you heard Kylie in the nightclub. Years before that, no one would play Kylie. So you're right. It became cool. And we were all going, oh, my God, look at Kylie, you know?
Yeah. She became cool again and had like a bit of a renaissance. And then she had renaissance after renaissance. It's like these sort of legacy artists, which I mean, really she has become in the nicest possible way. She's absolutely relevant, but she's got this sort of, she's actually, I believe she's got more relevance than, say, Madonna. She's never really gone away and she's just stuck to her brand. She's tried a few things, but she knows what she's good at. And I think she's actually got impeccable taste. And it's as she's got gained more control over her career, she's actually been able to reflect that. It's a lot of the sort of earlier stuff that could have been a bit daggy or a bit sort of too on the nose or whatever, but as she's been able to make her choices, her career has become phenomenal. And I was watching her the other night and I remember in the first 5 minutes seeing her and going, fuck, she is an Australian success story.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely. So I went to her birthday party at the Mercury Lounge when she did Impossible Princess. She had a birthday party. All the girls would know about that. And I went in for that. And that was the first time. I mean, I went to Impossible Princess about 5 times. It was the first time I'd actually seen her front the band, and it was amazing because it was Farnham's band really with Natalie Miller, and they were all just so great. But you did see that front woman in her for the first time because we never saw that outside of the video clips, and then you see her on her birthday. And I love the fact that people work on their birthdays because it just means business, you know, it's great. And I was so impressed with that whole concert because she was even cooler than the Farnham band. I hate to say it, but she was.
Yeah.
She was even cooler than them. Having Chong Ling, I love Chong up the front, but a little bit daggy for Kylie, but I think they just went with that. And I remember thinking, you're a superstar, you know?
Yeah. It's hard to actually put your finger on what her appeal is. It is actually hard. It's like, yes, she actually is an amazing singer. She has really grown into her voice. She knows exactly what she can do with her voice.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I mean? She's not trying to be anybody else. She's she knows what she can do with her voice, and she plays to her strengths.
Well, the thing is, when Confide in Me, for instance, was the big song, singing Confide in Me is so full on. Like, I've done it myself and I love singing it, but there's that falsetto range and you just think, and I remember seeing her live because I've been to all the gigs. I just didn't go to this one because my dad was sick, but I remember seeing Confide in Me and just the way the treatment was, and it was just unbelievable. And I think it was the same gig where she sang The Crying Game and she just hit every note. And I was thinking, nah, man, you're a singer. This is awesome. And the thing is, she would be even better now because she's been recording her own voice like since COVID at home.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And that's not easy to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking I was thinking a lot about that. I was thinking about her sort of recording her voice at home and what incredible training that is, because you're self-producing and you're really having to get to know your voice on a very intimate level and make peace with your voice as well. Like a lot of singers just go in and record, and it's the producer that chooses the takes and all of that. But if she's sort of self-producing, and but she can basically keep going until she's happy with what she's got, you know, which is a luxury that a lot of singers don't have. So I actually think it's that has sort of developed her voice in these last few years, definitely. But we should maybe start at the beginning a little bit and work through. What do you think?
I just wanted to get in there and mention with singers, we all have a third ear, and the third ear is very, very judgmental. So you've got to also control that judgment on yourself when it comes to singing a song and not overdo it a million times, because vocally you can't do something 50 times like the old days. I mean, she would be able to do it 3 times tops, not even. She probably gets it the first time. It's having that ear where you go, no, that sounds okay. And that's what a producer does. They're like your third ear where you actually don't know if it's any good or not. But, amazing training.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, awesome. Look, we might start from the beginning, but maybe let's talk about I'm Jay Jovi.
I'm Sammy Hardon. You're listening to the 80s montage.
Sure are. We've had a great weekend and sort of like really productive time. We did, I went to the Kylie gig on Friday night and we went off to Sydney the following day to play a date in Sydney at a really awesome venue called the Bridge Hotel.
The Bridge Hotel.
In Rozelle.
Yeah.
I can't stop thinking about it. It was just such a great gig.
I'm obsessed as well. And you know what? I've been speaking to them on the email and they're the best freaking people. And it just worked out better than I thought, to be honest with you, because you never know what's going to happen. And they were like, when you're coming back, you need to come back. You need to come back. And I'm like, yeah, look, I didn't even think about it. You know, I just went, we're coming back. So we're coming back August the 9th. But the crowd was really great. The venue's an old pub in Sydney, but it's
such a
so
Sydney
much
pub,
history.
mate.
It is, yeah.
It's such an
like
old
Starstruck.
Sydney pub. Yeah. We were looking at the walls and the ceiling and everything and like the kind of like fucking 60s tiles on the walls. And Sydney is sort of, it feels older than Melbourne, even though we've probably held onto a lot more heritage building. There's something sort of just edgy and dirty about Sydney that Melbourne's sort of not the same in that way, you know?
No.
And this was like a typical, like, slightly broken down Sydney pub. Just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Such a beautiful band room. Roselle's a really lovely area. It's not overly gentrified. It's sort of like just typically Sydney. We absolutely loved it. We had a couple of awesome dudes on our crew, which kind of showed us around. And we had like a couple of really good friends of ours, Abby on drums and Muds, who played with us in the Bowie band. He came and visited with his friends and we just had like an awesome night. It just felt like really family orientated. It was like a fucking
amazing.
reunion or something. It was
Amazing.
really lovely.
And this is the thing we're talking about with Kylie, even on our level, right? I could go and tour with this band, our band, every day of the week and not have a complaint. Like I'd be as happy as Larry. I could stay in the same room as you all. I could just do whatever. I would love it. Sure, we're working and everything and I've got other things that I'm doing, but it's never a stress and it's never – everyone's just really open with each other and we just have a great time and that's what you need to do. Even if you're touring with someone like Kylie, you need to be really paced and she's got that down so well with people that join the band. How were the backing vocals? How were the backing vocals, just out of interest?
Oh, they were fantastic. Really blended really beautifully. Kylie was able to sort of give space to the BVs without it feeling like she was dropping out and it was all just production. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She was just able to float. She was able to just float through the tracks and it just felt all very breezy. And, you know, this sort of goes with me trying to work out what is her quality, like putting your finger on her quality. She's like light. She's just bright and breezy and she has a positivity about her. She's always got a smile on her face.
She loves it.
She's always chirpy. She loves it. She's got a beautiful fucking energy. She must be beautiful to be around.
Yeah, well, the thing is Danny was there at one of the gigs as well, and those two girls are Melbourne and they've always been like that. They've always been grounded. They've always been fun. They've never, ever upset anyone. They're professional. You could ask anyone.
They're professional. Yeah.
And they're authentic. It's really interesting because I used to hang out. I used to just cross paths a lot with them and we'll talk about this during the show as well. And it was like if they knew you were a singer, they'd really say hi to you and validate that you were a singer. There was never any bullshit with the both of them, you know. So where are we going to start at the start?
I will start at the start. Kylie was born 28th of May in 1968, which makes her 56 at the moment. And, mate, she has got so much energy. She looks absolutely fantastic. For a sort of for a person that's sort of living with cancer and has survived her treatment and come back so strong, she just looks absolutely phenomenal. What I love,
cancer. Yeah,
lived with cancer. Yeah. What did I say?
You said living. She doesn't have it anymore.
This is my thing with cancer, right? It never goes away. You 100%. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if you're in sort of remission or whatever, like I look at what happened with Mika's uncle. You know what I mean? Like it all went away. We all sort of breathed this big sigh of relief that he was in remission and then it fucking came back and got him. You know what I mean? And as it happened with Olivia Newton-John and so many other people, you know.
Well, yeah, she was definitely living with cancer. That was a different story. But I think after a certain amount of years, your body does, like every 7 years, all the cells change, you know what I mean? And I think when you're 7 to 10, 20 years, you're pretty much in the safe zone because Maddie was the same. And I just didn't want people to think that she's still got it because she doesn't and she's so fit and healthy at the moment. But
gotcha.
The thing that cancer does for you, and I'm going through this at the moment with my family, is it makes you appreciate what you have and it makes you understand that it sometimes can be taken away from you. So you need to do stuff now. There was a beautiful footage of Kylie with the boy backstage. Did you see that? And he had cancer. He was going through treatment and he was asking about one of the songs that she wrote about cancer. And she was so mature but lovely to this kid. And that's the thing that keep people going. That kind of stuff where he meets Kylie, she's done the same thing as he is. Different cancer, but one cancer is the same as the other. And then he now is probably fighting for his life and he'll live through that, you know.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I thought it was
beautiful.
really good that she's never forgotten those patients and getting those people backstage. I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
And I think it's healing, and I think that's what the industry's about. It's not about, look what I've done and how many things can I do. And that's the thing about the girls. I'm going to say Kylie and Danny because they're both the same. They're very grounded, and they're also being brought up properly. Their parents, Carol, and they've brought up, and I could see their mum and dad holding hands backstage. Like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah,
you can't
yeah,
even
yeah,
get
yeah.
a relationship nowadays that isn't full of manipulation, gaslighting, and all this stuff. And there's their mum and dad holding hands. I thought that was that is what those girls are. And that's how
And
it's
especially a showbiz family, you know what I mean?
That's
Yeah,
right,
but
yeah.
this is the thing. They're beautifully brought up and they're not pretentious. You know, they're from the eastern suburbs. Kylie was born in Caulfield South. I believe the mum and dad live in Kew now. I mean, they would because they're set up now. Ron is the dad and Carol the mum. Kylie's got one brother, Brendan, who's a cameraman, and Danny, of course, you know. Whom we all know. Now, a bit of a fun fact, Mum is Welsh and she came out to Australia as like what they used to call them, 10 quid pom or a 10 bob pom or whatever. Came out in the boat, you know, for 10 bob or whatever it was, 10 pounds. She was on the same boat that the Gibbs were on. The mum was on the same boat that the Bee Gees, that the Gibbs mum and dad were on.
The Gibbs, okay.
Isn't that fucking incredible? Yeah. And this is, I always think of Kylie in terms of, say, the other big musical Australian success stories. John Farnham, the Bee Gees, Olivia Newton-John, they're all Poms. They're all born... You know, they were all born in the UK and they emigrated to Australia. Kylie was born in Melbourne. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right.
This is why I'm so fucking proud of her. And it's beautiful to hear her Aussie accent and everything and like her go back into her Aussie accent as well when she's in Australia. One thing that Kylie was very famous for as well, and that's diving into her UK accent to sort of assimilate. That's one reason why there was a bit of a cringe against her because she sort of she adopted the UK accent very quickly, and I think Aussies were very threatened by that. But that's something that she's famous for. She kind of adapts the accent depending on the audience that she's with. She's got a very sympathetic accent in terms of that, you know.
Well, I can go to England for 2 weeks and feel like I'm putting the accent on as well. It's something you mimic. You mimic it and then you end up becoming comfortable with it. I don't think it's actually that abnormal to be living in, I think she was there for 10, 15 years and having a bit of an accent because you're hearing it all the time.
Yeah,
Madonna
that's true,
did the
but
same thing though.
Yeah, that's right.
But Madonna's was not very good.
No, but Madonna's was fucking weird. Kylie's was beautiful. I loved her sort of trend. I loved her sort of what do they call it? A flight lounge accent where you can't quite tell where they're from because they do so much traveling, sort of, you know. But yeah, I loved her sort of transcontinental accent. Yeah, I loved it. But anyway, Kylie's career really started in 1979 where her mum, a friend of her mum's worked for Crawford's in the costume department and they were looking for this role for a little girl. And Carol took Kylie and Danny in to audition. It was Kylie's first audition. She had never done any acting lessons or anything like that, and she got the job. She got her very first audition. And she plays like a street urchin in The Sullivans who gets busted stealing. She's absolutely beautiful in the scene. I think she's sort of 10 years old and beautiful. And that was her first thing in 1979. And although she had sort of singing and dancing lessons when she was a little girl, and so did Danny, no acting lessons. And it really, she didn't used to do school plays and stuff like that. She never did that. She kind of learnt on the job. And so for a person to be able to do that, you got to be super observant, have a fucking incredible work ethic, and be actually very smart. And it wouldn't be until 1985 when she would do her next acting gig. She said to her mum, like, would it be cool if I sort of dip my toe back into acting again? I think she was 16. And the mum was like, yeah, fuck yeah. She went for another audition and got the role in Henderson Kids, in the first series of Henderson Kids. And I remember her very clearly. Do you?
Yeah, oh yeah, red hair and, like another Nicole Kidman almost.
Yeah,
like
that's
BMX
right.
Bandits, it was such a hot thing to have that flaming red hair. But no, I do remember Kyle's, and I really liked that show, to be honest with you. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I think she was a good sort of counter energy to Nadine Garner, and I think I always found they were quite competitive. I think everybody really expected big things from Nadine, that she was going to sort of blow up internationally as well, and right at that time, yeah, it could have been either of them. You know what I mean? Everybody was sort of like watching what these girls were going to do. Anyway, it would be the following year she got sort of written off Henderson Kids. Her mum was finding it difficult to make peace with the fact she was missing so much school. She wanted, the mum really wanted her to get a decent education, and it was sort of like threatening it a little bit, the filming schedule. Anyway, the following year when she was a little bit older, her next audition she would go for would be Neighbours, and like the rest is fucking history. She was absolutely
100%.
incredible.
Yep.
And hugely popular as Charlene. And this was sort of really this was her portal to fame. This was her portal to the outside world, and especially her pathway to the UK. The UK adopted her. The UK adopted her and loved her when Aussies were turning their backs on her. You know what I mean? And it was really Neighbours that really opened things up for her in this role. She was so popular.
Yeah, she was. And we didn't realise as Aussies how popular Neighbours was overseas either. See, it was a lot bigger overseas. We just thought it was on at whatever time in Melbourne. So the thing that I love about Kylie was she's always kept grounded about her success.
Yeah.
Should we play another track? Because I'm sure the girls are waiting to hear another track. And this is one of my favourites, and I've got a story with this as well. Here we go. Barbarella inspired Put Yourself in My Place.
fucking amazing track. That one was from Kylie Minogue, which was the 1994 album when she signed with Deconstruction. And it was like interesting that she called it Kylie Minogue because it was like she was reintroducing herself to the world. And she started doing some really cool fucking stuff. This was, of course, Confide in Me as well. This is the same album. And like the world saw her in a different light. It was like sort of in these years in 94 and 95, these were the years where people could not deny how fucking good she was. And I remember Triple J always slagging her off and everything, like they weren't, they were too cool for Kylie Minogue. And them actually saying like, we will never play Kylie Minogue on Triple J. Don't worry about that. And then the following year, I believe she was on the it might have been in 95. She was on the Hottest 100 countdown twice. So she was on there for Confide in Me, which carried over into 95.
Yep.
And then Where the Wild Roses Grow with Nick Cave.
Well, this is where she reinvents herself again. Confide in Me. Yeah. I remember being in the car. I was living in Elwood at the time, and I was with one of my ex-boyfriends, and this came on the radio, Confide in Me, and I'm not this, and Confide in Me. And I thought, what a fucking track. This is an amazing track. Got a really great story. People don't believe this story that I'm going to tell now. So I used to do a music trivia show at Revolver in 95 to 98. And Kylie ended up at one of my shows, and I was going to sing Put Yourself in My Place, the Impossible Princess version with fucking Dickhead on guitar, and do the acoustic version of Put Yourself in My Place because I'd been to Impossible Princess. It must have been later than what I thought. And I said, we've got to do this version of, and it was good because I didn't need a backing track. We could just play guitar and vocal. Anyway, we're sitting in the band room, and it was the whole crew. It was Batesy, Fab, myself. We were sitting in Revolver band room, and Renee comes in and she fucking slams open the door and she goes, "Oh my God, Kylie's here." And I went, "Kylie? Who's Kylie?" She goes, "Fucking Minogue." And I went, "I can't do that fucking song in front of her. That's ridiculous." So I ran up to the sound guy and said to him, "We're not doing Put Yourself in Your Place. Can you get the backing track for Holiday ready? I'm going to do Madonna's Holiday." Now, it was Christmas time, I think, and she was there for Deconstruct. I think they were DJing that night at Revolver.
Right.
So the whole Deconstruct thing, they were mates, So we open the show and she's standing at the bar watching us, and we're like fucking hairbrush comedy of just singing songs and being funny with costumes on and stuff. It was the start of the tribute thing for me. And she was laughing. Someone was filming her watch the show. But it was so scary because you just went, Kylie at the gig. But it was only by mistake because Deconstruct were there. So she's been to the show. She must have gone home, though, and told Danny about how stupid the show, or how funny the show was, and it was stupid. And the next couple of weeks, Danny came down. So it was just a really funny time. But Deconstruct were really powerful at this time for her,
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. And it was a really great time in Melbourne for music, I've got to admit. This kind of mid-90s period as well. Absolutely booming, I reckon. And kind of she was coming back a lot to sort of recharge your batteries and stuff at this time as well. Interesting period. I love that song. I think it's awesome. I'm glad you threw it in. After the gig the other night when we went back to somebody's place for a bit of a breather before we went out, and we played a few ballads, and this was one of them. And everyone had kind of forgotten about it, and they were like, "Fuck,
how can you forget about it?"
Song. I know,
wow.
I know every movement of this song. Fucking awesome.
And the hair colour,
anyway,
like I was at the hairdressers.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, she looked great in this clip. Anyway, we're sort of jumping back to sort of 86, 87. She was doing Neighbours. It was hugely popular, and there's this fantastic story about how her music career started. And she was playing a gig at Fitzroy Footy Club, Fitzroy Lions back in the day. And I believe this is late 86 or early 87. It might have even been to launch the season in early 87 for the Lions. She got up and sang a duet with John Waters, for fuck's sake. I've known John Waters for years. He played my dad in a film. I never knew this fucking story. I wish I did back when I was working with him. But they sang I Got You, Babe by Sonny and Cher. And it brought the fucking house down. They absolutely loved it. John was, a huge star in TV around this time as well, a musician, of course. And it was, this sort of slightly older guy and this young girl. Huge success. And as an encore, they got Kylie back on to sing The Locomotion. An old fucking, is it Ronettes or something? Anyway, that was fantastic.
There's like 3 or 4 versions of The Locomotion. There's Funk Railway Road or some shit like that. But yeah, it was a big song.
Yeah, that's right. So she gets up, does this. It's a great job. The right people were watching. They thought she did a great job, and they're like, you should fucking record that. So she sends a fucking demo into Mushroom Records, Michael Gudinski, because of the popularity with Neighbours as well. He fucking signs her on the spot in 1987. So she's with Mushroom Records, and she records and re-releases Locomotion. It goes on to become a massive smash hit, and it goes on to become the biggest selling single of that decade in Australia. Fucking incredible. Fucking amazing.
That's right. Yep. That was the start of it all.
Yeah. So then it was like kind of Gudinski was like, cool, let's really go for this sort of like music career for you. And the idea was to send her over to Stock Aitken and Waterman and have a track produced. They were saying that they were going to write something for her, and like the urban myth, which apparently is true, is that she went over to meet them in London, and they sort of mishandled her a little bit and forgot that she was coming. And they actually wrote I Should Be So Lucky for her as her next big single. Apparently within 40 minutes, they told her to go away, get a coffee and come back kind of thing. And they had put I Should Be So Lucky together for her. And there was a little bit of frustration and so forth. She recorded the single with them and went back to Australia, and they sort of did nothing with it. The Stock Aitken and Waterman at the time were really exploding. They were hugely busy and probably a little bit sort of spread a little bit thin. And they didn't do anything with the track. And Gudinski had to be quite firm with them in the end. You can imagine sort of Gudinski in the day, like a lion, calling them and like, what the fuck are we doing? We sent her all the way over there and you've done nothing and blah, blah, blah. They quickly put it together and released it. And it was a massive, massive smash hit, a huge hit for Kylie. So then she was basically making ways for herself to get out of Neighbours and to focus on her music career full time. And she would then sort of leave Neighbours. It was huge. There were things that were sort of like happening in the lead up. They were really sort of banking on her popularity with Neighbours, and all the storylines were starting to sort of revolve around her. It was really, really emotional when she left. It was really horrible because it was also Kylie, her leaving Neighbours and Charlene moving to Queensland was really our Kylie that we had watched grow up move to the UK. So we were letting go of the character, but we were also letting go of Kylie, like off to sort of make her fortune in the UK. It was hugely emotional.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've met Pete Waterman in London. I went to the office, the Stock Aitken and Waterman office. The story he tells is quite full on, where he flew out to Australia because Kylie was going to give them the arse. Kylie was over it. She was not fucking going to be involved because they were so rude to her and they didn't have anything ready, and she was huge in Australia. They really didn't know what she was about at all. So I think there's a story where she's on a boat with Jason Donovan in the middle of the Whitsundays or something, and he goes out on this boat, Pete Waterman, to sign Kylie. Like, she literally had to be talked around to do anything with Stock Aitken and Waterman because it was just a no-show as far as she was concerned. And I think they were lucky to get her back. I don't think it was all that easy. I don't think it really was about, do you want to do it? She did not want to do it because she'd had enough.
Yeah.
She sat in the office for 10 hours or something. So that's the story he tells, Pete Waterman, where he came out to Australia to sign her and chase her up because she was going to give that song I mean, this is years ago that I spoke to him. But every time you meet Pete, he'll bring up this story with him, her and Jason. But I think Stock Aitken and Waterman were just so big at the time that they didn't think Kylie would do much for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right. We've got a Stock Aitken Waterman track next. Do you want to play it?
Absolutely. I got my fake accent on, haven't I?
Oh, yeah.
Here we go. Here we go.
Why can't you see that I'm still mad about you? Even though I found out about you, I'll always stay forever true. And in my heart I will forgive you. I've got so much love to give you. It's never too late, we still got time. It's never too late, you can still be mine. It's never too late to change your mind. Why can't you try to be a man about it? And if you stop and think about it, you just can't keep walking out on me. And even if it takes forever, you're much better late than never. It's never too late, we've still got time. It's never too late, you can still be mine. It's never too late to change your mind.
Never too late.
There we go. I love these two albums. I love the two the two 80s Saw albums that she did. First one being Kylie, which famously has Locomotion, Gotta Be Certain, and I Should Be So Lucky on it. This one was from the second album, which came out in 89, called Enjoy Yourself. And this was the third single from that. This did really well as well. My favourite song from this album would be Hand on Your Heart, which was the first single released. But beautiful. Like, I reckon they're fucking great tracks. Like are we going to play it later in the show? Je ne sais pas pourquoi.
Yeah.
Hand on Your Heart, Wouldn't Change a Thing, Never Too Late. They're great fucking tracks. Really good pop tracks.
Absolutely. This is where we see Venel and Richard, the two dancers, and this is 89 because they asked me to audition for Kylie in 89, 90. They came to Chase's nightclub and they pretty much picked us all off the podium and went, Bartuccio's audition for Kylie Minogue tomorrow. You need to come. And I'm like, I won't get in with Kylie. No, you need to come. Anyway, there must have been 1,000 girls and boys there because I think either Actors Equity or the Musicians Union were on the tours back. They needed to have 3 Aussies against 2 Americans or 2 English, sorry. So this was the time where they gave a shit. So the Musicians Union were like, you need to get 3 Aussies and have 2 English and even the Australian thing out. This is what I understand. It's going back a long time ago, guys. But anyway, I'm hungover to the fuck. I've been at Chase's all night drinking. I roll up to this audition at Bartuccio's and Kylie's in the fucking studio as well, which was great because you get to see her and even then you could tell she was a really good chick, you know. Anyway, I'm just about to pass out because I'm doing these dance routines and I'm like, I don't feel well. I feel like I'm going to be sick and I'm going to pass out. She ate that yogurt chocolate, you know, the yogurt sort of white chocolate. She broke off a bit of that for me and gave it to me. And then we had to do our solo dancing because they wanted freestylers for the show. There was 600 chicks, I reckon, there and a whole lot of guys. And you had to be a certain height for Kylie. So, of course, I get down to the last 10 because I'm tiny. And everyone that was tall, there weren't very many great freestylers there anyway. To freestyle in Melbourne clubs in Melbourne in the 80s, you had to be really good. So they were sort of technically brilliant, these girls, but nothing interesting when they danced on their own. And you just saw them leave. It was like, okay, you guys, thank you, bye. And I'm down to the last 10 going, fuck me, I'm going to go on tour with Kylie. This is ridiculous. I've just been getting pissed at Chases. This is bullshit. So my girlfriend Cosima was there, who Cosy did the tour, Kylie in Dublin, I think, and newcomer Simone K. This is
Simone
Simi's
K,
gig.
our friend Simi. Yeah.
So this is Simi's gig. So it's Simi, Cosy, Mitch, who's not alive anymore, bless his heart, but he was amazing. Myself, someone else, sort of, they were all Chasers dancers, put it that way, right? So we're like, fucking Chasers is cleaning up here because we used to just dance on the podium on Thursday nights. And anyway, I was just too drunk and I couldn't concentrate, so they only needed 2 girls. But I was so proud of myself and I remember going home and telling my parents and them going, oh, well, you should have got that gig. And I was like, but you don't understand. I nearly did, and that's all that matters. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It was interesting, but yeah, if anyone went to that audition, it was a long audition. It went for hours, and Kylie was there. Mitch went on tour. So this is the Kylie in Dublin tour that you see where she sort of mimics. Well, they were saying she mimics Madonna's outfits a bit. She had like the chaps on with the bare ass.
She had underwear on and stuff, and she was just doing some racier stuff. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, but incredible times, and this is what was happening in Melbourne because even though these girls were doing gigs like that, they still had their feelers out to what was hot in Melbourne. They went to clubs. Danny was always there. She was always working with friends of mine, and they always kept their finger on the pulse. And I think it's really important, especially at that age, to see what else is going on. Kate Sobrano was the same. She was always in the clubs as well and she was looking at the fashion and you know what I mean? And it was just such a good time.
They were clubbers, mate. Like they weren't manufactured, you know, they were out there looking at ideas and stuff, you know what I mean? This is what's awesome about them. I just want to mention around this year for Kylie as well, and sort of 1989 when this album came out, Enjoy Yourself. This is the year she was getting ready for tour. She had just wrapped on a film, and in December in 1989, just as they would sort of embark on this tour, she released Delinquents. So she did the Delinquents, which is her first feature film with Charlie Schlatter, who was like an up-and-coming American actor, Hollywood actor. And she'd film it all around Queensland. So it was filmed in Brisbane and Maryborough and Bundaberg, and I fucking loved it. We loved it. If you were from Brisbane when this came out, you just felt fucking seen. You just felt connected to everything. You know, we had sort of Expo 88 and Delinquents coming out being set in Queensland. It was like, yeah, fucking Queensland, you know, like it was a huge big deal.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
It was massive for her as well. And what's more, she went to the premiere screening of Delinquents with Michael fucking Hutchence from NXS. What's more,
Unreal.
she had the fucking short wig on. So she's known for like having this sort of like blonde, this awesome blonde hair. She turns up to the premiere with this short sort of pussycat wig on and this sequin noughts and crosses mini dress. She looked rock and roll. It was the coolest fucking thing, mate.
Yeah.
She was so fucking cool
good.
at this time.
Absolutely. And it was cool that Michael hung out with Kylie,
Yeah.
Like who would have thought?
Yeah.
Who would have thought that they would get along so well?
Let's talk about their relationship after the next song. Let's play another track. What do you reckon?
Absolutely. Now this one is a ripper. This one's one of my faves of Kyle's, I think. I think it's really punchy, Here we go.
Tell me that it's no use. Love's always been my excuse. Don't tell me it ain't right. My heart is my alibi. Only you get me acting crazy like I do. Say you can't believe it, but it's true. It's true. What do I have to do to get the message through? How can I prove that I really love you? Do I have to do to get it through to you? How can I prove that I really love you? There ain't a single night when I haven't held you tight.
What do I have to
Fucking
do?
great track. Great
Yeah.
track. This was a really
So
great
punchy.
couple of years. She had had sort of 91. She released Tears on My Pillow, which was sort of to support like delinquents when that's coming out, and that's from Enjoy Yourself. Then you had Rhythm of Love, which was released in 1990 and singles released into 91. Step Back in Time was the last single from Rhythm of Love, I believe. And then, is this still from Rhythm of Love? Yes, it is. What a fucking album. This being released in 91, this was absolutely huge. And you think of 91, you think sort of around this time, coming out of the 80s and the 90s, everyone's waiting how the 90s is going to define itself through music and fashion and everything. And her releasing this was like fucking incredible. What a time for her. What do I have to do in 91? Shocked, Word Is Out. Incredible tracks. Incredible.
I actually think this would be my favourite album with all these
it's
songs
pretty-
in it. I love it.
Pretty fucking cool. Rhythm of Love and Let's Get To It, which were the sort of two last proper studio albums that she would do with Source. She'd do the big sort of greatest hits, which is interesting in 92, considering she's only been recording for a couple of years. That's really telling of how popular she was and how many successful tracks that she had. They did that. They do that thing where they leave a label. They're at the end of their contracts that they'll release a greatest hits to really make the last bit of money out of them.
Yeah.
That was actually great. That greatest hits album though, she did the.
Yeah,
She did What Kind of Fool. I love that. That was on the greatest hits album. And she did Celebration as well. They were the two big sort of releases. You didn't like the Celebration?
I don't like Celebration any way which it comes. I don't. I hate the fucking song. I hate it by Cool and the Gang. I hate it by Dragon. It's like, it just doesn't do it for me.
Right.
It's I'm not one of those chicks that sang Happy Birthday with everyone. I used to just go outside of the room. So anything that's chanty,
Sammy, that's
celebrate.
the fucking funniest thing you've ever said.
What do you
I was
mean?
never one of those chicks to sing happy birthday with everyone.
I just
you do.
wasn't.
You hate those moments, don't you?
can't do it. It's like it's fucking horrible. Happy
And that's the
birthday.
bit. That's the bit
You know?
about you that really fucking appeals to me because I love undermining shit and you just hate that kind of shit. I love it. You and I would always find each other at the back of the fucking room like going,
Yeah.
they can't fucking dance for shit, can
I know, that's right. Always. Because you were always waiting for me to start it. Like, they can't dance for shit, can they? You know? And you'd be like, yeah. I don't know. It's something I just, the celebration, not, nah. I was just going to mention, what do I have to do? Miss Danny Minogue's in that video as well.
Oh,
Danny's
is she
in the video.
really?
Yeah, so she's got, I'm pretty sure it's this video. She's got like a bob haircut and a beautiful dress, and she just does the video because it was really expensive, that video, because they did like a time lapse where she had to mime really fast and they slowed it down. It was something, I remember there was a VHS that showed you the making of all the videos. That used to rock my world. And they don't do that anymore, where you'd get the video and you'd play the video, and then after the song had been played or before, they would show you the filming of the video. And that's what made me want to go to video and film school, because I saw these tricks of the trade and I was like, oh my God. Because what you've got to remember, guys, is Kylie's been doing this for so long. It's not fucking easy being this proactive every day, you know.
Yeah.
And it's tiring and it's a lot of work. Yes, it's rewarding, but some days you just want to fucking kill yourself. You're like, I don't want to go out and sign an autograph. But people think it's all tits and feathers, and it really isn't.
Feathers.
You know?
It's not. No, that's it. Absolutely right.
She was always really busy. So I don't like celebration. only the chocolates.
Yeah, nice one. Let's play the next track because it kind of connects to the one that we just played as well.
Here we go.
I want a funk. I want a F-F-U-F-U-N-K. I want a funk. I want a funk. I want a F-F-U-F-U-N-K. I want a funk. I want a funk. I want a F-F-U-F-U-N-K.
Non-stop dancing the bus stop to the funky music. Hustle, bumping the muscle, playing on the boogie. Remember the old days. Remember the old days. Walking in rhythm. Life was for living. We can't find music to get down the boogie. All you can do is step back in time. All our confusion when nothing is new. There's nothing doing. Step back in time. Keep on trucking along, riding on the love train, and then we get float on. You'll never go wrong. We can't find the music to get down the boogie. All you can do is step back in time. All our confusion when nothing is new.
Step back in time.
Fucking great. So this was the single before, and this is the last single. Let me just get this right. I always get these kind of like mixed up a little bit. This is the last single that she would release in 1990, and this is the third last single of 3 that she would release from Rhythm of Love, being Step Back in Time, What Do I Have to Do, and Shocked. And it was just like one hit after the other. Like they were really great tracks. These were all top 10 in UK. did almost all top 10. What do I have to do was 11, but charted really well in Australia as well. Not yet charting in the US though, even though Locomotion and I Should Be So Lucky did chart in the US dance charts. This one didn't have an impact in the US yet.
Yeah. So there's 2 tracks that impacted the US and we all know what they are. Now, I'm going to tell you what was happening in Melbourne here at this stage because the thing is I lived in Melbourne and I was inside Melbourne, clubbing and working in clubs, and you were in Cairns, weren't you, babe? Yep, at this stage you would have been.
Yes,
sure.
yeah, still there, yeah.
So they have just finished Kylie live in Dublin. They've been to Dublin and it was Cozzy and Simone K came back to Melbourne and we were all dying to hear how they went on tour. We were all dying to hear. And I remember Cozzy saying to me, Sammy, the next video Kylie Minogue puts out, she's like the best looking woman in the world.
Oh,
It's
wow.
called Step Back in Time. Just keep an eye out for it. We've already been seeing it. They weren't in the video because it was another cast. But she said she is so beautiful in this next video and she just keeps getting more beautiful and more beautiful.
Yeah.
I thought that was really lovely to hear a crew member say that,
Yeah.
because she is
Yeah,
gorgeous,
that's right.
but, Cozzy was so graceful and just let her do, because Cozzy really, I think, and I'm going to say this and I might be a little bit over the top, Cozzy really taught Kylie to dance.
Yeah, right.
Kylie
okay.
wasn't a mover until she met Cozzy and Simone.
Yeah.
Simone was very young. Cosima had that nightclub twang about her. She was in Sometimes with Max Q. There's the Michael Hutchins thing.
Yeah,
She
fantastic.
also married the manager of In Excess later on down the track. I'm not sure if they're together. I haven't heard from her in years. But Cozzy went on tour with Kylie, and I guarantee you the next time I saw Kylie live, I could see Cozzy there, and I was like, fuck, because when you work with someone and you really pick up on their vibe, Kylie she just went up in the air. And I thought that was really great that she said that about Kylie, because she would have known on some level that they were doing a lot of dance rehearsals and stuff that Kylie was picking up on her style. And you did when you worked with Cozzy. Cozzy had this amazing fucking style in Melbourne, worked at Chases. She was the dancer. She was on Countdown Revolution, Countdown. And you just knew Cozzy and Chantel, her sister. But I just remember thinking, thank God you went on tour with Kylie, because Kylie's like fire now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
So this is what was happening in Melbourne. So we hadn't even seen this video clip, Step Back in Time, but I'd heard about it and I think there was a bit of a break between this video and the last one, and we're all waiting the ones in the scene were all waiting to see what she was going to look like, because we'd been told it was incredible, and it was incredible,
Yeah, it really was. Yeah, it was great. And she was doing a retro thing. It was a bit of a concept single as well.
Yeah,
and
that was big at the time too,
cool.
the retro thing.
Really was.
The retro thing was
was
coming back in.
Flower
the
power
feather
and shit.
boas. That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was, and she only did a touch of it and then sort of left it, which was great because it evolved, from there.
Yeah, that's it. We got a little ad up next.
Yeah, now this is, the producer loves this ad, Maddie. Here's the commercial for Kylie underwear.
Argent Provocateur is the most erotic lingerie in the world. And with your help, we can prove it. men in the audience stand up?
Love it.
No, they can't stand up because they got a fucking big fat rager.
That's true.
Now
That's
she's
true.
because it is an audio medium. She's on the bull. Yeah, she's on the electric bull.
Yeah.
Riding
So
the electric bull.
released her own lingerie. But this was
Agent
banned.
Provocateur.
Yeah, this was banned.
Yeah.
This commercial.
Yeah, it
'Cause
was.
It was too
Yeah.
sexy.
Too sexy.
Does it remind you of Gay Bar, the song? Gay Bar. I go
Yeah,
to
it's a
a
bit that.
gay bar.
It's a bit
Yeah.
sort of the Clash or whatever.
And
whoever,
even
isn't it?
the woman because there's a woman that pulls the trigger on the bull, and she's
yeah.
very Gay Bar as well, with a big makeup on,
Yeah.
this strange looking woman. But that was the 90s. We all did, Kylie was freaking ahead of a lot of things,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It was interesting because the 90s is when she became very womanly and very sexy, we were perhaps not expecting that as Australians, So this sort of, if there was any bit of tall poppy syndrome, it was that as well. We weren't sort of ready to see her in that light perhaps, but I fucking loved it. All the gays loved it.
Look, I heard a guy talk about Aussies. This is when I was very young. Might have been on the Ray Martin show during the day with Jeff in the band, and he said, Aussies once were convicts, always convicts. So they want the convict
100%.
mentality of, you know what I mean? And I really understood that as a kid. I was like, oh my God, he's right. We all think the same because we all come from the same place.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'll never, ever forget that. And there's certain things people say on TV, even when you're little. I would have been 9 and I just got it. I went, you know what?
Yeah.
We are convicts and we're always going to be convicts. So anyone that
that's
gets
right.
bigger than us, we
Yeah,
don't
we
like
don't
it,
like
you
it.
know. And
And
I
it's
think this
interesting
is what
because-
happened with Impossible Princess as well.
Yeah, exactly right. But
'Cause I think-
Americans, and especially the Americans which encounter us the most, which is probably sort of LA and Hollywood and so forth because of the proximity, but the industry as well. The guys that we went to see Kylie with, they were telling us a story where they were cutting because they had just come back from an LA trip, and they were saying they were talking about some Australian. And the person from LA went oh my God, you Aussies are so no, they went stop ambition shaming, and that's what they think we do. We
Well, we
ambition
do.
shame. We make
That we
people
do.
feel shame for having ambition.
That's right. That's right.
It's unfortunate.
Because if you go to America, that's exactly what you learn is that people talk themselves up, but not in a bad way. They fucking think they deserve it,
Yeah,
and
that's right.
when
They work
we
hard
went
for it.
over with James Freud, now James Freud and his sons went over to
LA.
Los Angeles, LA, and he was in the band with Kylie for a little while, James Freud. And
That's right, he was the bass guitarist.
I remember
yeah.
James saying to the boys, "Don't put yourself down. This is America, man. You got to be fucking selling yourself, you know."
You got to talk yourself up. Yeah.
And I understood it, but and it was just a strange situation. So they're exactly right. We're not great.
Yeah.
Aussies are not great because I think the Impossible Princess album is one of the best albums she's ever done. I love it. But Aussies really gave her a hard time about it. And that's why they got the Farnham band because the budget wasn't there.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
True.
And
yeah,
Farnham's
yeah,
band
that's
needed a
right.
gig.
Yeah.
Not that they weren't great. You just didn't. The only thing we saw were a couple of feathers and stuff. And that's the thing.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, oh, there mustn't be a budget. And I remember at the time I was hanging out with this guy, Justin, who was Melissa Legear's little brother. And Danny was managed by her. And I was going to this gig 4 or 5 times. And I loved it, but it was very different. You could tell they hadn't spent a lot of money on that record on the tour because everyone was just, it wasn't camp enough or something, but I thought
Yeah,
it was
that's
just
right.
survival mode and it was
Yeah.
so inspirational. And
Yeah.
she wrote it. That was the thing. She wrote it and it was
Yeah.
just incredible. Can we play one song off that album now?
Fuck yeah, 100%.
Here we go.
Don't blame me just because I am bored. I'm needy. I need to taste it all. Don't down me just because I am quiet. I'm thinking about it all. I'm helpless about the way of me, and I'm thinking about it all. I'm salty, everything inside. I'm looking in the space, this time, this void. I'm making my way through the muddy minutes. The bullets in my muscle, the ache is in my bones. It's hard to be alone. Breathe, it won't be long now for me. Breathe, it won't be long now for me. Breathe, it won't be long now for me. See through me when I put up a fight like you. To see the things I had go deeper than
Breathe, Kylie Minogue.
What a fucking track, mate.
So
What a fucking
good.
track.
So good.
Just awesome. Yeah.
Now, this was
yeah,
the problem with, and I'm going to be honest here, when you went, did you see the Impossible Princess tour?
Yeah, I did.
At
Yeah.
all?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
the Mavises were the support, remember?
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Yeah. And Natalie Miller was in the band as backing vocals with Lisa from Johnny's band, John Farnham's band. And they were having after parties at the Mink Lounge in St Kilda, which is sort of
Oh,
where you
fuck.
got married the first time.
Yeah.
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 And because that's the only reason I know it. Anyway, I walked into the toilet and Natalie Miller was in the toilet. And she goes, Sammy, come back to the after party with me. And I was like, oh, no, I couldn't. I really couldn't. I'm scared. And she goes, no, they'll be fine. Come back to the after party. Because I knew I'd be the biggest fucking trash bag and I didn't want that reputation. So I just went, no, thanks, Nat. That's great. Have a great time. I'm going to go home now. I was also maturing a bit at that age too and not wanting to go out as much because I was never
Yeah.
a big drinker, but I love to drink, you know. I'm a two-pot
Yeah.
screamer, really. When you went and saw Impossible Princess, it was mainly at the Palace, or the Palais, I think. It was
Yeah.
great, but the production wasn't the same as the album. And I'm going to be really honest here. So
Yeah.
that whole bottom end, boo, like it wasn't a Kylie Minogue band. It really wasn't. But the guy that played the bongos and the freaking bells and shit was hot shit. Hotness. I remember being in a band with him going, fuck, you're hot. I think he married an Aussie actually. The production wasn't sort of, there was no 90s bottom end there, and it was kind of like,
Yeah.
nah, not working, you know?
Yeah,
and
it's not there.
It would have been harder in those days to sort of maybe get that same sound off the record, but it just didn't give you that, you hear that bottom end come in and it's like it's caught you, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was an interesting time for her. It was a big sort of risk and a big sort of change in direction, and you know she's looking to sort of redefine herself and become more indie as well for a moment. Like I really look back at her career and her album releases, and I really don't see a dip. I really don't see a trough. Like I really valued this album, and everyone did at the time as well.
Yeah.
Everyone did at the time. They just
wasn't
did.
Stock Aitken and Waterman, you know?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
And they wanted
yeah.
Stock Aitken and Waterman. Like even when I worked with Stock Aitken and Waterman with Pete,
Yeah,
that's all they wanted. Sammy, do this song bloody with Pete, you know? And I'm like, oh, fuck, really? Why? You get over it because you want to break away and do a different style. She's growing up as well. She's she's going through relationship people and
Exactly.
meeting new people and she's growing. I thought it was just phenomenal because but they couldn't give away enough tickets to this concert.
No,
Like
that's it.
I'd get a phone call, Sammy, picking you up in half an hour. We're going to the Impossible. I said, this is the fifth one this week. Or maybe there wasn't that many there.
Yeah.
But I was getting
Yeah,
picked
yeah.
up by people just because they needed people to go. So I wonder if the people look back at this and go, we really missed out here. And I think this is where Kylie, I think this was the downfall of her health, to be honest with you, because she was quite devastated by it. She'd sort of been
Yeah, she
rejected
was.
by her people, you know.
Yeah, she wanted it to
And then
work.
she did. And there was a whole lot of old people like myself that didn't necessarily like the SAW stuff that just thought this was like the fucking Mona Lisa. It was a masterpiece.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
all
yeah.
the musos loved it. So
Yeah,
all the
that's
musos
right.
wanted to
Yeah.
go to the gig. So it was a really interesting time and I don't know, she just wasn't supported and I think this was a bit of a downfall for her and I kind of felt sorry for her because where's she going to go from here? You know what I mean?
I just don't think the market wanted to see her like a riot girl. You know what I mean? It was that kind of like late 90s thing where you had like all the angry girls coming out. You know what I mean? And they just didn't want to see her with amongst that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It just she didn't. Yeah, it's interesting. They didn't want her to be indie. She did. She wanted to write. She wanted to write her own stuff. And but look, it was I really feel it was like the end of the apprenticeship because she sort of a year after this she would sign with Parlophone and she'd sort of return to dance music. And in 2000 she would launch with Light Years and Spinning Around came out, which was another big renaissance because it was like her return to pop music and it was a huge, huge success. Went to number one in Australia, went to number one in the UK, and this was a really solid album as well. So, look, speaking of dance music, we've got a pretty big one. It's not from the 80s, it's not from the 90s, but we think you'll like it.
We're not going to. Have we done Word Is Out?
Oh, have we
Or
not
is
done
that-
Word Is Out? We
Word Is
haven't
Out.
done Word Is Out. We haven't done
I've got
it
to
yet.
do Word Is Out.
Let's-
I love it.
Let's play
We'll
Word Is
do
Out.
that. Here we go. Word Is Out, Kylie Minogue. I love it.
There we go. She looks incredible in this clip as well.
She
1991.
does. And I just want to put it out there for the girls and the boys listening and everything else. We're not implying that we know everything about Kylie Minogue at all. I want to say hi to Leo from the Sound Museum. He's like the biggest Kylie fan I know. But what I really want to put across is the work ethic of her and Melbourne at the time and what we were all going, where we were clubbing, what we were seeing. We were seeing her in clubs and we were seeing her go and have this huge success. It's really interesting when you look back at your own life and you go, oh, yeah, that's right. Kylie was there that night, you know, or you just don't remember stuff until you get through to the songs and you go, oh, my God, I do remember, you know.
Yeah. Look, everyone in the music industry was really fucking pleased for her, you know. Like, she beat the odds, mate. Like, however she did it, and like, you know, I think everyone takes I think everyone sort of takes it for granted because she is such a tiny little girly thing and image and stuff, but her taste is impeccable. Like her self-management is amazing. Her work ethic is incredible. And it's those things that really resonated with the industry, with the people in the industry. Like the hard work. Yeah.
No one's got a bad thing to say about her, you know.
No, exactly right. Exactly. How could
amazing.
you? Like she's fucking incredible. Yeah.
Now, I remember breaking this next song on our podcast going, this is phenomenal. Remember?
Yeah.
We don't usually play anything that's not now, but we did because we were obsessed.
Yeah.
And this
we
is,
did.
What do we want to say about this song, babe?
This just exploded. This just exploded. This sort of like, this is, you know, really, really pushed her into the US once again, and it allowed her at her age, in her sort of mid-50s, to take this another big step in her career. And this led to her Vegas residency. This led to sort of all the sold-out shows at Madison Square Garden, and it just speaks for itself.
Here we go. We're not even going to introduce it.
You look like fun to me. You look a little like somebody I know, and I can tell you how this ends. I'll be in your head all weekend. Shivers and butterflies. I get the shivers when I look into your eyes, and I can tell that you're all in, 'cause I can hear your heart beating. I hear it and I know. I know you wanna take me home. And get to know me close. When your heart goes. I hear it and I know. I know you wanna take me home. And take off all my clothes. When your heart goes. This place is crowding up. I think it's time for you to take me out.
Padam.
Beautiful. So fucking well done. The US started to take notice when she released Disco, and with the single Say Something, which was released during COVID, which she recorded herself at home, all the vocals and everything. And so the US were really like, yeah, Kylie Minogue. Yeah, remember from fucking Can't Get You Out of My Head, and before that Locomotion.
Yeah.
And this was sort of disco. This is like 2020, 2021. And then when Padam came out in 2023, the US was like she was completely on their radar. This went to number 7. This only went to number 19 in Australia, which is really interesting. I was sure this went to number 1 here, but fucking what a track, mate. Just huge.
Interesting, isn't it? Because I thought it went number 1, but I can't remember it going number 1 either. This song's like a loaded gun. This is when you go to the gun shop and you buy a gun and you fucking load it and you shoot it out into the desert and you
Yeah.
know you got something good. You know,
Yeah.
it just sounds like a Tarantino sort of vibe. And the video clip was just incredible with the red and the whole thing, and it was incredible. I just loved it, and we knew when we heard it this was going to be huge, but
On the
not as
first
huge as
listen,
what
on
it
the
was.
first listen,
Yeah.
it's like this is a
Yeah.
big hit.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
it.
Not a grower straight away. Just like this is fucking incredible.
Straight away.
And I just like
Yeah.
I was just like watching her kind of like in concert the other night and just thinking. You beat like you are on par with Madonna. You are
Yeah, God,
you are
yeah.
Australia's Madonna. Like you beat the shit out of fucking so many pop princesses. You know what I mean? Like she has so many fucking hits. So many fucking hits.
because she's learnt. She's learnt, and she's really, you know, she's been a part of her craft and she's cared about it.
Yeah, yeah.
The when we saw her sing with Madge, "I Will Survive," remember that at the concert?
Yeah.
Like that must have been
Yeah.
surreal because every little girl had a Madonna poster on her wall, you know, and it would have been the smash hits one that everyone had, where
Including
she's on her
Kylie.
back with her hair out like a lion, including
Yeah.
Kylie. And you're standing up there with Madonna, but at that moment when I look at them both together, and I love Madonna, I'm thinking, you know what, Kylie's going to be around for a little bit longer. I think.
Yeah,
There's just
yeah, that's
more,
right.
I think Madge has just aged herself or something, but where Kylie's, because she's shorter and she's just, the thing about the difference between the both of them is one's a giver and one's a taker.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Kylie gives
100%.
and Madonna will take. Madonna very
100%.
rarely gives, but Kylie gives. She wants to give you a great time at a gig. It doesn't matter where it is, and she's happy to do that. And there is a big difference with performers when it comes to that, and people feel that, you know.
People would go up to Kylie Minogue and think like, yeah, she'll be right. She's not going to be a cunt. You wouldn't be the same with fucking Madonna, would you? You know, you'd be like
no,
sort
you
of
wouldn't.
like borderline terrified. But like Kylie could walk into fucking any pub in Australia and have everyone in the palm of her fucking hand. You know, this is her appeal. Yeah, she's incredible.
Yeah.
I reckon
She
we
has
should
an
end the
interesting
show.
aura. Yeah.
I reckon we should end the show with this
Oh.
awesome 80s track. What do you reckon?
Yeah. So this video means a lot to me. This has a friend of mine, Mitch, in the video. He plays the love interest. Mitch passed away. Oh, it's been a while now. I can't remember. But I used to dance with him at Chases, and he was an amazing guy. And I'll never forget this day with Mitch. I was with my Jewish reception band, and we were doing this wedding at the Carousel, and they had the Kylie Minogue, you know, the little girl that sings Kylie. What's her bloody name? The tribute chick.
Not
Lucy.
is it
Lucy was
Okay.
doing, for a Jewish function, she was doing a Kylie show. They did 4 tracks. So Mitch was dancing with the tribute act, right? Which was hilarious because it's like, he's done the real thing. Anyway, he bends over, campers camp, bends over and goes, "Sammy, come here and have a wine with me." He bends over and he has this pink fucking G-string, right, coming up around his back. And Darren goes, "One of your mates?" And I was like, yeah, you can tell they were laughing. They were laughing. Like, oh, my God, Sammy knows the dancer, and they're out there drinking wine. And it's quite a conservative Jewish function. And Mitch is bending over with his pink. And I was like, he was just always so lovely. And this is the last video he was in, I think, from memory. Oh, maybe not. But I won't say he was or wasn't. But this is Je ne sais pas pourquoi.
Are you sure you are in the correct place? So easy to be confused here.
It's probably my fault. Wrong day, wrong date.
If a man is involved, do not be so sure. Well, good luck.
Merci.
Rain falling down, another minute passes by. I'll wait for you, but this time I won't cry.
such a great video, and I think Mitch showed me this before it was released and said, look what I've done with Kylie. And I went, oh, my God, you're like the love interest. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, Mitch, that's incredible, dude. That's like incredible. I couldn't believe it.
It was made to look like it was
amazing.
shot in Paris. It was probably shot in fucking Albert Park or something. Where was it shot in Melbourne?
Probably at the Carousel where he left his fucking G-string. But yeah, look, I don't know, but yeah, look, it was just an amazing video. But what was your favourite track? I mean, this is a bad question to ask, or maybe hard. What was the favourite track that went down live at the gig?
Oh shit! What went down well?
Or
Shocked
what did you
actually.
really loved?
Yeah, Shocked went down really well because she did the rap.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. She did the rap. It was really fucking cool. That was awesome. Confide in Me was a really big moment that had a big kind of like filmic element in the background. She sort of like had filmed some stuff just for the performance. That was really cool. I like the fact that she did songs like I Should Be So Lucky and Locomotion and really claimed it. Really claimed it, did it how it was released, didn't do it like a reimagining. She just sort of fucking sung the song. But yeah, look, it all went off. I think Shocked really stood out for me when she did the rap. That was fucking cool.
Yep. Amazing. So glad you went and enjoyed it because
it was cool. I am considering driving to Sydney. I'm considering driving to Sydney and seeing her on Saturday night. Yeah. But it's going to be Mardi Gras and the crowds are going to be fucking ridiculous. So,
are there any tickets left in Sydney?
Oh, you'd be able to get them on Tixel. You know the reselling sort of app. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm trying not to fucking spend too much money at the moment. So just trying to rein it in a little bit as well and find some balance. But I reckon that's our show. How fucking cool. Kylie, we fucking love you. And even we're playing every single song tonight. There's a million more. And I mean, we were fucking living and breathing these even in those playings, where you and I are miming them and living them.
Yeah.
Love it. Love Kylie Minogue. Good on you guys.
So
Thanks
great.
for listening.
Amazing.
Hey, if you love the show, especially from our new friends from our crowd in Sydney, please jump on board with the 80s Montage, guys. Please like, share, rate and review. But become a subscriber. Hit subscribe. Don't just listen to the one episode. We do shout-outs all the time. Please write into us, guys, into our social media, and we will do a big bunch of shout-outs next episode when we're back in the band room. The best thing of all that you can do is become a subscriber for as little as $2 a month. But for $15 a month, you get extra episodes that come straight to you. Yeah,
that's right. So patreon.com/the 80s Montage Podcast. But if you listen to this on iHeartRadio or you listen to it on YouTube, just press subscribe. And we hope the Kylie fans enjoyed this. This is just a little bit of our history really and what we think. We were just having a discussion about our Kylie, but we hope you enjoyed it because it went for a little bit longer, but that's okay. She's worth it.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. We love you all around Australia, all around the world. Big shout outs to our subscribers and patrons. We love you. Thank you for your support. And if it's music mateys
or cool shit from the 80s,
we're going to talk about it.
Unreal.